Okay, so before we jump into warehouse order creation rules and cartonization planning, what I wanted to also showcase to you guys is trying to do the goods issue reversal, and we were not able to successfully do it because of the posting period error. So what I have done today, I have opened up the posting period, closed the previous period and opened up the posting period. But in general, obviously you guys would be aware about this. This will not be done by the EWM consultants. Okay, so you will reach out to the relevant team or the finance team to do the opening and closure of the posting periods. Okay, so this is generally not done by the EWM consultants, and most of the organizations, they will take care of it. You don't have to go and reach out to anyone in the production environment, especially that you need to open up the posting period and close the previous period. So over here, if we were trying to do was do a goods issue and try to do a goods reversal against it. Okay, but we were not successfully able to do it. Also, what we were not successfully able to do is the loading start and the loading finish at the TU level in EWM, because the warehouse process type, it was giving us an error that it is not subjective for immediate confirmation. Okay, I have done all those config changes, and now the system will allow us to do the loading completion and then complete all the activities for the TU as well, the transportation unit as well. Okay, so now what we need to understand is we need to make sure that we are taking the right examples when we are trying to visualize the scenario. Okay. So again, what we were visualizing is the truck is coming in and just checking in, right? So what I'm going to do, so I've already done the picking and packing of all the items against this delivery. So I will not create a new delivery. I'll just do the reversals. Okay, so I had done the goods issue for this delivery, but but I have done the yard movements as well. No worries. So first I will show you the delivery reversal and the goods issue reversal process over here against the delivery, and then we will see at the DO level what are the different steps that need to be performed from a yard management perspective. Okay. Now let us, so this over here, you've seen the picking and the packing is already completed against the outbound delivery. And now the goods issue is not yet started, right? So what I will do, I will simply click on goods issue so that we can do the reversal once again in front of you guys. Okay, so the goods issue is completed. And if we go into the delivery in ECC, you would see the goods movement status is completed. Okay, I've already done one reversal for this. So you'll see multiple material documents which have been generated. So this one was the first GI and then the reversal. And then now again, we have done the GI. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to again re-trigger a reversal for this particular outbound delivery. So to trigger the reversal, again, remember, we cannot do it from the ODO level in EWM. We have to do it, follow the cursor that I'm showcasing over here. We need to click on outbound delivery. And then from here onwards, we need to click on goods issue, reversal of goods issue. Okay, so once we click on reversal of goods issue, so the system will do the reversal. It's no longer giving us that error that we were getting yesterday, right? So now, once it is done, just for double check, I'll do a saving. And what I will do now, I will delete this OD. Okay, as I mentioned to you, we need to delete the OD so that we can do the reversal of the picking as well. So I'm going to delete this OD now, and system lets me. So once this is done, now remember one more thing is that I can, sometimes what happens, the OD does not get generated automatically. So that can also be a problem. Okay. So in that case, what you can do, there are two ways of doing it. Like the pure manual way. If everything fails, all the automatic things fails. So how you can do it? Okay. So basically, what you can do is that you can just click over here. You can see this creation of the OD outbound delivery button over here. So you can click on that, and then you can do the goods issue. Because right now, if I click on OD, there is nothing. It's blank because I have deleted it, right? So I can create an OD again using this particular manual option over here. Okay, but we are going to try to do the reversal. So let's see whether the system allows us to do the reversal or not, because only the goods issue status has been reversed. The picking and packing status is still showing as completed, right? So generally over here, what we will use is the EWM document number, okay? So once we use the EWM document number over here, now you can see yesterday it was not showing us anything. Now this is something which you will only see in the latest S4 HANA versions. Remember that, whether you are using embedded or decentralized, not in the previous versions, okay? In the previous versions, even though you have not deleted the OD, it will still showcase you the stock over here. So when you go to release the stock, at that point in time, the system will give you an error that please go, there is a document which is linked to this stock. You need to delete that document first. Okay. Now, these particular items are already packed into a handling unit. So therefore, when we release it, we need to release it from the handling unit tab. Remember that, not from the warehouse request items tab. So if you try to do that, it will show you an error. Then you need to release it using the handling units tab. Okay. So what I'm going to do, this is my handling unit 800346. So I will just click on release stock. Now, if you want to send the stock back to the original storage bin from where you had picked it up, say for example, you can still do that. So for that, you need to click over here, release stock plus create HU warehouse task in the foreground. Now, what it is saying is that the HU warehouse task cannot be created. Why? Because it is loaded onto a truck. Very good scenario. So now what we need to do, we need to do the unloading because it is already loaded onto a truck. So we need to do the unloading. So we will go over here. Let us see whether the system allows us to do it or not. Okay, current TU, so I will use it. So why it is not allowing me? Because the unloading process is linked to the inbound process. So therefore, instead of using the unloading option, I have to use the loading option. Over here, I have to reverse loading end and then reverse loading begin because I have finished the loading, right? So I will need to reverse the loading end and then save it. Reverse loading begin. Let's see whether the system handling unit is locked. Why is it locked? Because I have opened this transaction, the CanSpeak transaction. So therefore, the system is showing a lock. So I'm going to close this session. Okay, so let's hope automatically I don't have to do a hard refresh. Reverse loading begin. So complex unloading of the handling unit is only possible via ad hoc warehouse task. So what it is saying is that currently this particular HU, the position of this HU, if you see, let me show you, is inside the TU, inside the container, because I have done the loading, right? So if you see, it is inside a TU. So I can actually push it back. Let me try to see whether I can do it or not. I have not tested this scenario, but let's see. Should be able to do it. So this is the staging area was Y920. So basically, I'm just unloading it and pushing it back into the staging area, the goods issue area. Okay, so now I'll click on create plus save. Yep, so I've been able to push the handling unit back from the container or the transportation unit to the goods issue zone. So let's see now whether the system will allow us to do the CanSpeak or not. So you see now the system has taken me because I've chosen the option of releasing the stock, and I've chosen the option of sending back the stock to the original bin. So for that option, what I have chosen is release stock plus create HU warehouse task in foreground. Okay, so it has created this HU warehouse task, which is ending with 4731. So let us quickly check that. CO underscore CONF. Nope. So it has not generated. Let us quickly rerun the can split transaction and see. PICK. No, but the stock has been released. Okay, let me see where the HU is right now. So 80 HU. So the HU number was 8000346. Okay, so it's still lying there in the GI zone, but the stock, if you see now, if you want to see whether the stock is still connected with the document or not, so the only place that you can find out very easily is using the EWM monitor. So when you check at the physical stock level in EWM monitor, so there you would be able to identify whether it is linked to a particular document or not. So because when you check at the physical stock level at over there, it will show you the exact document number if it is linked to it. If it's not linked to any document, the document field itself will be blank. Okay. So over here, you need to just pass the handling unit number within the EWM monitor. And so you see this document field over here is blank. That means this stock can be used to, for a different outbound delivery as well. Okay, we can use this stock for a different outbound delivery. Now let us do a fresh one so that I can show you the yard movements as well. Okay, so let us quickly create a. So we have seen the reversal movement, how it is, how we need to do the reversal movement in EWM. Now we are going to see the yard movements completely, how the different yard movements are being done in EWM. Okay, so we will quickly create a sales order again. Okay, so the outbound delivery was created. So this is the outbound delivery, and it was distributed to the WMS system, right? So let us just take this reference outbound delivery. Now in EWM, what it is going to create is a ODO, outbound delivery order. Choose logistics execution delivery over here in the drop down, and then you enter your ECC delivery number. Then you will get your ODO, or the outbound delivery order. So over here now, what I need to do is I need to assign a transportation unit. So right now there is no transportation unit which is assigned to this delivery. So I cannot use the shortcut window from here. So I will just open the TU transaction. Let me just close all these unnecessary ones. This is not needed. This is not needed. Not needed. Okay, so I'll go to SCWM TU because I'm generating the TU directly from EWM in this scenario. So I'll just click on new one over here. And over here, the TU number will be generated based on the internal number range. So I just need to enter the means of transport, the packaging material. So as I mentioned earlier when we were doing the configuration, so when you're when you're having different kinds of truck, you can choose that specific packaging. You can define different kinds of packaging material for all those different kinds of trucks, and you can choose those respective packaging materials while you're creating it. So the shipping and receiving activity direction would be outbound. So I will just enter this. So the TU has has been created. So I'll assign the delivery now. So this delivery document would be 4404. Okay, just execute. The delivery is assigned successfully to the transportation unit. And now what we need to do is we need to bring, so first of all, we'll save this, okay? And then the truck will come to do the loading, right? So the empty truck will come in. So before the truck comes in, let us quickly create the warehouse task. Done. So the picking and the packing is completed. So I'll just quickly go to the packing work center because, as we all know, there's a POC step for this. Push in the HU number. Do the complete the step. And now there is a warehouse task, which is to be sent from the packing work center to the goods issue zone. So 10,5434 TO underscore CONF 10,5434. Okay, I'll just do a confirmation and save. And now the stock is lying in the staging area. So we are waiting for the truck to come and do the picking. So for that, again, what we will do, we will just go to the transportation unit and then start the truck managing process. Okay. So if once the truck comes in at the main gate at the checkpoint, we will do the arrival plus save. So once the arrival plus save is done, the transportation unit status will change to active. So once the truck has arrived, it is active. So the next step is to assign it. Now let's assume that we are not doing the step where we are pushing the truck and we are creating another yard movement from there to the parking yard because we have not created so many bins and all. So I'll straight away use now the next step is to push the truck after the check-in to the docking location. Okay. To push the truck to the docking location, what I need to do, I need to assign a door. Okay. So to assign a door, if you click over here on the door assignment, if you want the system to automatically do the door assignment, there is no standard configuration in EWM to achieve that. So I'm taking it that it has been accidentally someone has unmuted himself. Okay. So now when it comes to door assignment, this thing through the configuration. So system will not automatically go and look into an empty door and then do the assignment. If you want to do that, you have to use a body. So within the body, you have to write an enhancement. We have done that for one of our clients. Okay, but that is a body utilization that you need to do. So there's a standard body under shipping and receiving, and within that, you need to write the Z method and the, you need to write the Z method, assign it to a Z class. Okay, so that is how the system will automatically determine the empty door. Okay, but otherwise, it has to be done manually. Now, when it comes to door assignment over here, so if I try to do the door assignment, say for example, let me just select over here. So if I want to do the door assignment, I can do the door assignment, but let's say, for example, I do this, okay? And then if I click on action and click on door and do an arrival at door, the system should throw me an error. Why? Because the transportation unit has not been moved to the door. You have to do a movement of the transportation unit from the checkpoint to the door, right? So right now, because I've just done the check-in. So from a visibility perspective, say for example, if you look where exactly is the transportation unit, you will find it is lying there in the checkpoint bin. Right. So for you to do the arrival at door, you cannot do it there, right? It's physically the truck has to arrive and hit your door. Now for that thing to happen, what you need to do is you need to do a yard movement. Okay. So for the yard movement, you just select this row, the TU, and then over here you click on yard movements. So we have not saved it, sorry. So we will just save it and we'll continue. Okay. So in the within the yard movement now over here, so this actually is a transaction, so which is called SCWM move. SCWM move. Okay. But if you don't want to, you can directly use that shortcut as I showed you before. Just click over there and go to yard movement creation. Okay. But if you want to directly go to the transaction, it's SCWM move. Okay. So over here now, just select on the mass entry over here. And then you select the yard type. For us, we have created this yard storage type, if you remember. And then within the yard storage type, you select the yard bin. Okay. So I'll select yard bin 5 and confirm warehouse task. And I'll click on create plus save TU yard movement. So it is saying door 2 YD02 is already occupied by this. So save is cancelled. Okay, so no worries. What I will do is, which particular TU number did it say? This particular door is occupied by transportation unit 20,501. Good. Let us resolve that as well. 20,501. The TV is currently docked at this door. Okay. Yard movements. This is not yard bin YD05. Okay, so I tried to move it outside a yard bin, so therefore the system is not allowing me to. I wanted to save, push the container back into the GI zone, so the system is not allowing me to do that. Because within a yard movement, I can only move it from a storage type which is defined as a yard, or a bin which is defined under a yard storage type. Okay, so I have no choice but to create a new bin then in that case. So had I chosen this one also, so it will automatically pull the checkpoint because the checkpoint has a bin assigned to it, right? So now this should work. Let's see. No, what is it saying? Okay.
Yeah, WPT.
That's fine. That's fine.
And the profile you need to enter it every time it pick up.
It has been moved to the checkpoint. Okay. So we just try to so the door activity, if you see, has been completed now. So I can use this door now. Okay, so instead of creating a new door and assigning doing all those things, so we have got this door available now. I will just also do the departure of this truck. Let's see whether it allows or not. Yes. Okay. So in the meanwhile, let me just go back to, was this our delivery? Yes, 4404, right? Okay, so the TO is active. That means it has reached inside the main gate, and now we will try to do a yard movement again. So that means we are going to push the truck from the main gate to the yard bin. Okay, so that we have tried to assign one door already over there. So that door is in plan status. So the moment we do this yard movement, what will happen is that it will assign it to this particular door now. Okay, so for example, I choose 5. Okay, and now if I go back, you would see there are 2 doors. If I click on assign doors, so there are 2 doors because one I had manually selected and the other one is the one which got automatically assigned based on the bin, yard bin which I had moved it into. Okay, so it is already active. That means the moment the truck I have done the yard movement, so the system has considered it that the arrival at door also has been processed. Okay, so what I will do is that now I will delete this door assignment. I will not block it for any reason, and we do have YD O2 right now over here. So from here onwards, our picking, packing, all those activities are already completed. So what we need to do is we need to complete the loading process, right? So we will start loading and then we will finish loading. So yesterday when we were trying to do this, we were getting an error, right? So today we are not getting this error. The reason behind that is the warehouse process type. If you guys remember, yesterday it was saying that warehouse process type Y372 is not set for immediate confirmation. So what I did, I simply went inside the configuration of warehouse process type. Okay, so over here, I have activated this confirm immediately option. So the moment I did that and saved it, I was able to finish the loading activity as well. Okay, so generally, if we have not maintained that, then a separate loading warehouse task also will get generated. But the previous, the related setting related to it to create the loading warehouse task was not done in the system for this warehouse. So therefore, when I click on load, there is no warehouse task which is getting triggered, but they have maintained this warehouse process type for finish loading, and it is not maintained as confirm immediately. So if I don't want to create a loading warehouse task, then I should also create a warehouse process type which will allow me to finish the loading as well. Okay, so these are different stages basically, and the system will then allow me to do it. So once I finish the loading process, then the system will allow me to do the goods issue as well. So this is the hierarchical flow that you need to follow. So picking, packing, then loading start, loading end, and before that, the truck will check in. From check-in, it will move to the parking bin if it is defined. And from the parking bin, you can move it to the actual door bin where you will be doing the docking. Okay. So from there onwards, from there, you will start the loading process. Start loading, finish loading, and then you will be doing goods issue. So this is at the PU level itself, the transportation unit itself, level itself. So once we do the goods issue, you can go back and see the status of the delivery. So the picking, packing, and the goods issue status has been completed. Now, so did you guys understand? For people who are already working on it, like Praveen, so you obviously you will understand. But apart from that, the rest of the audience, have you understood the flow? What are the different actions within a transportation unit and how we need to process it? So this is the way where we are creating the transportation unit directly in EWM. There is a way where, so the other day when we were first setting up the shipment part, doing the configuration, so over there we have seen that when we are doing the configuration, there are 2 IDOCs. One is for receiving the IDOC from EWM to ERP, and the other one is sending the IDOC from ERP to EWM. Now in this model, it is the other way around. Okay, that means the IDOC should be sent from EWM to ERP. Now, let me go back to the transportation unit. Let me go inside over here. So if you look into the PPF actions, this post GI, that is fine. You can ignore that. So, but this synchronized TU with assigned deliveries has been triggered and it has been processed successfully. This particular action definition. Okay. And if we go to SPRO, SCM Extended Warehouse Management, cross-process setting, shipping and receiving, message processing, define action profiles for transportation units. The expectation is that this particular action definition should be triggered. SR underscore send underscore SHI PPL, which has not been triggered. So I need to look into the configuration why maybe there is an action definition trigger point which is missing, because although it is activated, if you see over here, SHI PPL, so still it did not get triggered. Okay. Even the SR send shipment, this was also not triggered. So the only thing that got triggered is synchronized TU with assigned deliveries. This is the only PPF action definition which has got triggered in our transportation unit. Okay. So I will check later tonight issue, and during the weekend I should get some time to work on all this setup and then give you guys, because although the delivery did get replicated and the GI must have happened in ECC, let us quickly check that, but the shipment did not get replicated. That means the TU, so the expectation is that the TU should get replicated into ECC, okay, based on the configurations that we have done. For PPF actions, generally, this check button will, if the delivery is at the block status or the TU is in the block status, then it will show you. If you click on the check button, then it will show you the error. But for PPF, you need to click on the log button over here to get the error. Okay. So what it says is that the log cannot be saved, object, sub-object not specified for this particular thing. But this is something which we can ignore. This is not this post GI. This post GI is actually not, this action definition is not relevant for your IDOC creation. Understood, bro? It's not for generating the IDOC to create the shipment. Okay. So for generating the IDOC to create the shipment, so it should be SHI PPL and SHPMNT. These are the two message types. Yeah. So we have maintained all this. See, for inbound also SHI PPL. Sorry, let me go to S4 one. I have a doubt on two things. So the one is the port, which is assigned, and also, but still I need to see the configuration of the action definition, the triggering point, why it is not getting triggered. Okay, so, but I will get time during the weekend. During the weekdays, it's difficult for me after this couple of hours to manage time to create, work on the data part, but still I try my best to do it. So, but during the weekend, I will get some time and I will set it up for you guys. Okay. I'll make sure. So I won't be able to sleep if I finish this training without showing this thing to you guys. So I'm that kind of a person. So for my own, I'll not be satisfied with what I have delivered. So I will definitely show it to you guys, the transportation unit creation in ECC. Okay. But then again, I don't want to spend my time right now in this session trying to figure it out what exactly is wrong. But yes, so that is the only missing thing right now. But from a transportation unit perspective, so wait a second, let me check. 3 and so this was our delivery, right? The last one that we have worked on. Even though with our delivery open, should be this one, 5194. So we still don't have, just check. No, there's not a single shipment which is not yet got generated. But no worries, we will create. Okay, don't worry about it. So I will set it up. Okay. Certain things actually, now these configuration settings should have been already been there in the server, but this server itself is like a, for these kinds of things, if you guys have noticed, I have done the entire setup over here blank. There was nothing maintained over here for the logical system, from a port perspective and all those things. So yeah, so it's like a golden client right now for this particular server. So therefore, you need to spend some time and identify what exactly is missing and what exactly is required for these things to be working. Yeah, so that is what we did, right? Just when we were doing that yard movement in the scenario. So we were trying to free up because we wanted to use an existing door. So what the concept of door is that the doors are actually assigned to storage bins, right? So let me quickly go to the table and show it to you. The door has got two key things, okay? So one thing is that it has got this loading direction. If we are selecting it as for both inbound and outbound, so the option is different. So over here, so you will see the option is B, inbound and outbound. Now, when we are doing outbound transactions, so if the door is only defined for outbound, and over here you can see these three doors have these three bins assigned to it. So basically the concept is that when you're doing a yard movement, you're doing a bin to bin transfer. Okay. So initially when the transportation unit comes in, it is lying in the checkpoint bin, the bin which you have assigned to the checkpoint. Right? For that, let me show you. Extended Warehouse Management, because I don't remember the T code. Sorry, guys. This is shipping and receiving, yard management. Yeah, this one. YM underscore checkpoint underscore bin. So if you guys remember the session when we were doing this, we had set this up. So against the checkpoint CHPN, we had maintained this particular storage bin, yard bin test. So first, when the check-in happens, so the transportation unit is in this particular bin. So once we are assigning the door, so there is a parallel bin movement which should happen from this yard bin to the bin which you are pushing the transportation unit to. Suppose you push it to YD01, then automatically this door will get assigned, YD01. If you assign it to YD02, this particular door will be assigned. Now, suppose your door is occupied. So you need to push it back either to the yard bin for the checkpoint, in this case, what we did, or if you have defined this yard, you have defined another storage type as the yard storage type for parking area, and you have defined bins within that particular storage type. So you can do that yard movement as well, okay, using the YMove transaction. So once you move your transportation unit from that particular door, door bin over here, to the next yard bin, your door will free up and then you can assign your deliveries to this door. Okay, so that is how it works. So basically, truck is coming in, getting docked in the door, loading, unloading activity completed, it will move on to the next point. So it will go to the next point to go out of the premises, right? So then only your door will free up. So that is how it works. Yeah, so you see this particular door YD03 is active right now, correct? So YD03 in turn, if I quickly check the assignment, YD03 is assigned to this particular bin, door YD03, right? So what I will do is, again, I will push it from here. I will push it to the next yard test bin. Okay, so which is for the checkpoint. So I can just directly do it from here. Yard. Let's see whether that yard test bin comes up or not. Yeah, this one. Confirm warehouse tasks. So now I have done the movement from that particular bin for that particular door to the yard test bin. Okay, so if I go back now, so this is the YDO2. YDO2 is YDO2, right? Why did I? Because I just moved it to. Yeah, so this is yard bin test. Okay, so we have completed all the activities for this, right? So basically, but what you need to do is you just need to go to this, you need to follow the same steps that I had shown you before this. Okay, so you need to go to YMove. Either you directly go to YMove or you can just use the yard movements option over here, and then you can push it off to push it off back to the checkpoint bin or to the parking bin from here. So now we will start discussing about warehouse order creation rule. Now it's important to understand that warehouse order creation rule basically controls how my warehouse tasks are getting combined and how they are being getting created. I can have a lot of divisions based on weight, volume, based on consolidation groups. There are different criteria based on which I can do these combinations. So the system will give you multiple options. Okay. So generally what happens is that warehouse order creation rule is always being determined based on activity areas. Okay. And in certain warehouses, from project experience I'm sharing with you, where we have designed multiple different warehouse order creation rules, is sometimes based on product groups, based on customer groupings, and also based on resource groupings. Okay. So product groups, customer groups will be like, as I think I have mentioned yesterday as well, where you wanted to combine the orders in a particular day for particular hospitals. Okay. Then you wanted to, so there's an indicator whether that particular customer is a normal customer, retail customer, or a hospital. Okay. Then you want to do it for, in terms of product groupings, for specific products, you want to do the you want to combine the warehouse order in such a way that these products are combined. For a specific route, you want to do the warehouse order combination. For specific consolidation group, so you can use consolidation group. Consolidation group in itself is a different topic that is not, I think it is there in your in your list of materials and all those things, but at a very high level. But I think we will, the way we have covered our topics, we will be getting time to cover all those things in details as well. So I will be sharing with you how we can use consolidation group as well. So there is a small set of configuration and small amount of master data that needs to be maintained in the system to use consolidation group. So I'll show it to you how we can use it. And then also based on resource types. Okay. So why, say for example, what kind of example will be for resource types? Now, in a warehouse, there are different resources. In large warehouses, there will be different types of resources who will be working to complete an end-to-end shipment. Okay. So in order to execute an end-to-end shipment, there are different types of resources which will be involved. There might be VNA lifts, there might be normal forklifts, and then there might be some manual, literal manual picking activities also which are involved in the overall end-to-end dispatch scenarios. So in those cases also, you will be having different, because you want to make sure that this particular forklift is assigned only those warehouse orders which are specific for that forklift, or which are specific for that particular area where that forklift can go into. So in those kind of cases, also you will be using warehouse order creation rule. Okay. So for the warehouse order creation rule, the most important thing is the definition of the warehouse order creation rules, and then the assignment to the different activity areas. Okay. So let us see which will be. Let me just go to cross-process settings first. Warehouse order. So I'm just thinking which one will be. I can just give examples and do it in a faster manner. Let's use. Okay, let's just simply first start off with this. So define number ranges for warehouse orders. So you need to, over here, say for example for 1710. Now this is already maintained. So these number ranges actually we had already seen, which are warehouse specific. So warehouse order is one of those number ranges, which it has a sub object value of the warehouse number. So in the very first session, if you guys remember, we had seen that if we can go to NRIV table. Sorry, my bad. And over here, in the sub-object value, if you pass the warehouse number, so you will get all the number ranges which are warehouse number specific. Okay. Now the problem is this is an embedded system. If you are using a decentralized system, you can simply just push in the sub-object value of the warehouse number of your EWM warehouse number. Now, since this warehouse number is equal to the plant number as well, so it is bringing in so many values. So to filter that, you just put /SCWM/*, okay, and then you execute, then you'll get a filtered. So you see only these many number range objects are being maintained against a warehouse number. But is this the only number range object that is maintained against a warehouse number? The answer is no. There are other objects as well. It's not only this ones, but for this warehouse, they have maintained only these number range objects. Okay. So to get the full list, you can just do you can just go through the entire list. You can just copy it and you can just see what are the different number range objects which are present over here. Okay. So now, once you have so generally for all these, we have already maintained the number ranges, but just if you go step by step, you will go through the same one. Okay. So once the number range is assigned, so over here, we are assigning the number range interval again to the warehouse number. Okay. Because you can have multiple number range intervals for warehouse orders. So you need to do the assignment of the warehouse order number range to over here. Now, apart from this, as I mentioned, there is a close link of the warehouse order creation rule along with the activity area. So once again, what we need to see is we need to go inside master data and activity areas. So over here, define activity areas. So you see, these are the different activity areas. The activity areas are generally in sync with the storage types, right? So we can map the activity areas accordingly in accordance with the storage types as well. Or if we want to combine the different areas, then we can do that as well. Are you guys aware to hit the, the Windows desktop? Earlier, there was this option right on the right side, bottom right side of the screen, where we click on it and we directly jump onto the desktop. You know, in this latest versions where exactly it is, or that shortcut has been removed itself. Did you understand my question? So there was earlier a shortcut over here, if you guys have used it. Just a small line over here. So if I click on that, then automatically I jump into the desktop over here. Yeah, but see, it doesn't nowadays. It is not working like that. So that's what I mean. If I'm over here, okay, if I click, nothing happens. So I just need to use the keyboard shortcut then, Windows D, which someone just mentioned. So what we had earlier discussed was we had these three storage types for high racks. So we can create activity areas for this whole bunch, and we can assign the storage types to these activity areas over here as well. So system will not stop me if I can just create one activity area as A001 and assign all the three storage types to it. I can do that as well. Okay. Or I can just create an activity area for each and every storage type. Depend on how I want to, because the whole concept of activity areas is more or less related to how you want to do the assignment of your warehouse orders. Okay. So once the activity area, let's go back. Let me just create first three storage types in the system itself. Triple 001 high rack, I'll copy. A1 HR, high rack storage, A1 HR. Okay. Then I'll just copy this to HR, to HR. Okay, so I've just created three storage types. Activity area for, or rather, I will just use A1 HR. A2 HR. And then I'll just copy this and create another activity area for A3 HR. So I've created three new activity areas and three new storage types. Basically, why this I'll start, I'll end, stack start, end, level start, end, all these options are being provided because, say, for example, in a particular, now you want to define that this activity area is from here to here only. Say, for example, for slow. So you can actually, for that particular level, stacking, bin depth, where the bin is starting, where the bin is ending. So all those details you can maintain over here. So this is so specific. So that means that even only for these three bins, say for example, the activity area has been defined. So like that. So that can also be done actually. I mean, if you want to, but generally those kind of scenarios I have seen where the rows, let's say for example, let me open this. Sometimes what happens in certain warehouse setups, I'm not so sure whether you guys have seen or not. So this is a rack, suppose, and again, this is another rack. So what happens is that now this is very long. Let us assume that this is from where the forklift will enter. So let's assume that this is a drone view that we are getting from top, okay? So from here to here, this distance itself is very long, till the middle of this area. So although it's the same rack, the structure of the rack is such that so long that it's covering a huge amount of distance within the warehouse. So we will be assigning operators from here to here, and then again from here it will pick up and then go back. Okay. So again, for this particular area, it will be a different set of operators who will come in from here, and from here to here, it will come and pick it. So because there might be two different goods issue zones over here as well, like over here or somewhere over here. So to manage the warehouse efficiently, and if I have that kind of a budget, so there'll be two set of resources who will be going here, picking up from here, and then pushing it in the goods issue zone here. And then another set of forklift operator will come in and pick it up and then go over here. Now, why we will define this area as a separate activity area? The reason behind that is then, and this area, let me just push in a different color. Okay. So why we will have two separate activity areas for this is because now I will be saving a lot of time and this will be highly optimized. If my warehouse layout is like this, okay. So in those kind of cases, you will be using these things. I'll start, I'll end, stack start, stack end, and all those things. So stacking start and stacking end is also like if you have multiple levels, first floor, second floor, third floor, like that. So you can define it like that as well, from a stacking perspective, from a level perspective. Okay. And section start end also you can maintain over here. Consolidation group also you can use. Interim storage type, storage section, storage bin, all these things also you can use. Okay. So I'm not going to make it so complex. I'll just simply maintain a storage type. I'm a very poor company, so I don't have the budget to do all these things. This is A3HR. Now we'll move out from here. Now sort sequence for my activity areas. 1710 A1 HR. I will be maintaining it. So let me just. So I'm maintaining everything for pick only. So I'm not doing it for any other activity as of now. So I'll just, from the outbound perspective, because we are taking these examples. So short sequence, stack bin level subdivision. It's okay. I don't want to use any of these short sequence because I don't have such a complex structure. So I'll just use fix. Now, if you have, say, for example, you can use this as well. If you have a very complex structure and you want to use the sorting sequence at aisle level, stacking level, so all those things also you can do over here. So all the different options are being provided, how you want to do the sorting, ascending or descending at the aisle level. So all those things you can control. Okay. And the sort sequence level over here, you can first sort sequence is stacking, then level, then bin subdivision. Okay. And then from there onwards, you've got multiple options. It's like the other sequences, stacking, bin subdivision, and then level, like that. So these are preset sort sequences which you can use as well if you're creating activity areas for those kind of complex setups. So there's also an option to generate the activity area directly from the storage type. I think we have discussed that as well earlier. So if you use that option for every activity area, a new storage type will be created. Okay. So once we have done this, we are not going to, as we have mentioned, that we are not having any sort of structural definition in terms of aisle start, aisle end, all those things. So we are not going to do that. One thing is for sure that we have not created our bins. So we need to do two things now. We need to create a bin And then we need to do the bin sorting as well for these 3 storage types, right? So what I will do is I will just use the bin upload functionality. So warehouse number is 1710. Storage bin is just A1HR. We have not defined the storage section, so that's fine. Okay, and the storage type is A2HR and then A3HR. Okay, what else do we need to maintain over here? Nothing, that's fine. So I'm just going to maintain these 3 bins over here. And then I'll save the file as CSV, delimited. And try to upload it now. Okay, so the bins have come in. And then I'll just click on this, create storage bins option. Errors occurred. Okay, what happened? Is the log saying there's no log? What happened? I've given storage bin storage type. Why was it not able to upload? Okay, my bad. So this requires a bin type basically, because I have, when I copied the storage type, so I copied it from a high rack storage type for 0001 warehouse. So there the bin type has been maintained as mandatory. So it's asking for a bin type now. Okay, so let me just quickly back D303 1710. This is the table for the bin types against your warehouse number. Okay, so I'll use YNGB. Okay, so let me go back to the file. Storage bin type, YNGB, YNGB, and then YNGB. Save it. Okay. So this is the CSV, delimited file, right? Yes. Yes. Okay, so it's already the CSV, delimited file, so that's fine. So I'll just once again try to upload the file. And then I will click on upload, allow, and then create. Yes, so this time the bins were successfully created in the system. Okay. The next step is to do the bin sorting. So for the bin sorting, for people who are new to EWM, what do we need to do? We have covered this as already, but still, what do we need to do? Quickly, guys. Which transaction do I need to use for bin sorting? Okay, so let me just start. Shubham, you are already working in EWM, but you're pretty new as well. So which transaction would we use for bin sorting?
SCST.
SCST.
Yeah.
Is this what you're saying? This
Yeah.
one?
Yes.
Okay, so there is actually no transaction which is called SCST. You are absolutely right, but just a letter here and there. So it's SBST. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys don't need to memorize anything, but just as you keep working and as you gain experience, so it will automatically be a part of your day-to-day cycles. Okay. So now we will use our activity area first, A1 HR. and the activity was pick. So always remember the sorting, the bin sorting functionality as of now within the EWM architecture, it is required from the overall program flow perspective. So when the system is, whenever you're doing any activity, whether it is inbound, whether it is outbound, whether it is internal movements, so the system will go and check or try to identify the stock. Because for any activity, always remember, the system always tries to identify the available space and the available stock within that particular space. Okay. Now, the first thing that the system checks is the available bin. Available bin for put away, available bin for internal movements, available bin for picking. Now, if you have a bin and you don't have the activity area mapped to that bin, then the system will not pick up that bin. And the activity area mapping to that particular storage bin will only happen if you do the bin sorting. If you don't do the bin sorting, then if you go into LS03 transaction, you will not see this activity area mapping over here. And if that mapping is not there, the system is not going to consider the storage bin. Always remember that. So this is the program architecture, how it works, the flow. Even if you have one single bin, whenever you create a new bin, you always need to do the sorting so that the activity area gets assigned to that particular storage bin. The activity area is assigned to the storage type in terms of a configuration, which I have just done. But you also need to map it to your storage bin. And if I click on activity area, so this is blank. Since this is blank, the system will not consider this bin when I'm trying to suppose do any sort of picking. Also important is the activities that you are doing it. So if you want to do only for a particular activity, then you can assign only that particular activity. But generally the bins, obviously you'll be maintaining put away, you'll be maintaining picking, you'll be maintaining internal movements as well. Okay. So internal movements also comprises your physical inventory activities as well. Okay. We will be covering physical inventory next week. So once the activity areas have been defined, now in this particular example, which we are trying to achieve over here, go back to sheet 1. So let's assume that this particular resource with the forklift is a different resource type which goes to activity area A1 HR. And this one goes as a different resource which goes to activity area A2 HR. And this one is a different resource. Okay. So what we will do, we need to define these resource types in the system also. So this is when we are doing this example, or when we are trying to understand the warehouse order creation rule, why I am showing it to you guys in the system, so that you will understand the interdependencies and all the interdependent configurations that also need to be done. Okay, then it will be very clear for you guys. Otherwise, it is just one particular segment that you will understand, help you in providing solutions to your client. Okay, so that's why I'm showing you all the interdependent configuration as well. So now these three, because we don't have this, whatever I'm doing it in the system, those scenarios are not there in this existing server. So that's why we are creating those configurations. Okay. Now, these three resource types, let's see what resource types are there. So we go back to Spro. I seriously get irritated when I open so many windows. This data is logging on. Okay, so let's use this only. Okay, so we go back to cross-process settings within EWM. Okay, and within that we go to resource management, and within resource management we go to define resource types. Okay, so within resource types you would see for the warehouse 1710 we have YALL, YDS1, YLL1. These are the three resource types that we have got. Okay, but what we want to do is we want to not use all these resource types. Since we are doing all the configuration, we'll create our own resource types. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just copy this. Okay, so instead of y all, so what I would do is, so I will put it as VNA for VNA1 for VNA1. Okay. So we've got three different resource types in our scenario. So we've got a normal forklift, we've got a VNA forklift, and then we have got a electric forklift. So what is an electric forklift? Electric forklifts are nothing but where it's like the batteries are assigned to the, I mean, it doesn't run on a fuel, basically. So you would see if you are going into some old warehouses or traditional warehouses, you would see the forklifts that are being used. Those are not battery operated. Those will be running on traditional fuels like petrol and diesel. Okay, but in most of the warehouses nowadays, they have changed it as well. But they are still, you'll find quite a few warehouses where they're still using those traditional ones. And then you'll also see the forklifts which are electrically operated, where they will be, the batteries are loaded behind the forklifts. So it's our battery operated. So the batteries are taken out and you can charge it and you can use another separate set of batteries as well. Okay. Like the way the two-wheelers work, if you have seen, so similar concept. The electric scooters, how they work. So similar concept is there for the forklift vehicles as well, which are electrically charged. So these are three resource types that we have defined in the system. And then what we will do, we will also define the queue types. So can you see this vehicle? This is called an AGV. Did you see the flow? So first there was a manual, this is unloading. This activity which is happening, this is an unloading activity which is happening. Okay, this is a manual forklift. So incoming goods, so the unloading is happening from the container, and then the pallet handover is done to the AGV. I don't know whether we will also be required or not 10 years down the lane. So if you guys have you guys seen the Terminator movie by any chance? All the Terminator series movie, if you guys have seen. So it's they show that, artificial intelligence takes over and, they will try to wipe out the human race. I don't believe in that thing, but yeah, maybe at least job wise, it might happen. So this is how, they are trying, they are just doing the put away now, if you see. AGVs. So it's being pushed into this conveyor, if you see. So this is an automated storage and retrieval system warehouse, actually. So once the AGV has pushed in, so in this conveyor, it will go in and through the lift, it will go up based on the bin which has been determined by the system for the put away. Okay. So that
in
is
between that yellow one is the aisle.
Yes, but
unloaded.
Yes, but this aisle, you can see this is only this kind of AGV can move through the aisle, which I keep talking about, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is what it is. But I mean, although it does look like very nice and you know, the integration layers are huge. I mean, even though EWM does have integration layers, but the integration layers are huge, and the testing becomes more and more complex when you have these kind of third-party integrations and interfaces, and the delivery, especially at the time of SIT and the UAT part, it becomes more challenging. becomes more challenging. But yeah, but we have no choice because more and more warehouses are going for these kind of solutions. And SAP is not a hardware manufacturing company, right? So it's just a software product based company. So therefore, we have no other choice but rather than to integrate with this different companies who are manufacturing the AGVs and then also integrate with their layers. Okay, so that is how it works. But yeah, it is interesting, but it's very challenging as well from that aspect. Okay, so now we've defined, so from a queue perspective, inbound, outbound, okay, this is fine. That's okay. We will not change this. Define queue types. I'm not going to change this. I'll go to define queues. Okay, so I will define something for my warehouse now. What do we have for our warehouse? It is this. Okay. Let me just make this since it's outbound. Okay, so we have defined this 3 new queues now, not the queue types, right? So we've used the same queue type, which is OUTB, but we have defined 3 new queues. So after we have defined the queues, so we will go to the next process of the queue determination criteria. So over here, what we will do, we'll do the mapping of the source activity area, destination activity area, as well as the picking, right? So if let's see, this is Y061, the generic activity area for storage type. So in my case, I'm not going to use that complex process. So I'll just put a standard one for this. So I'll not use a destination and source one as well. So you guys can actually define it. So if you want to define, say, for example, over here, there is one storage type just out of this rack. So you want to put it within the destination activity area as well. You can do that for your queue determination criteria. Okay. So say, for example, I use this. So warehouse number is this, A1HR. And then I will just define activities pick. And the queue is A1HR out. Now over here, also we can maintain, if we have defined a specific warehouse process type, we can maintain the warehouse process type as well against the assignment for the queue determination criteria. That is up to us. Okay.